Welcome to the explainer. You know, we usually just turn on the tap and assume the water's always going to be there, right? But today, we're unpacking one of the absolute most crucial yet totally hidden systems keeping our planet alive, our freshwater resources. Digging into the source data on these massive global systems and the literal urgency of conserving them is honestly fascinating. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. 70%. That's a massive number. 70% of the entire world's freshwater is used exclusively for agriculture. I mean, usually when we think about water use, we picture drinking a glass of water or taking a really long shower. But the vast, vast majority of this incredibly precious resource is actually being pumped, diverted, and poured right into growing the food we eat. It's a staggering reality check, and it really sets the stage for everything we're going to explore today.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer. First, we'll get our freshwater resources explained. Second, we're looking at the invisible water crisis. Third, we'll uncover your hidden water footprint. Fourth, fixing agricultural water waste. And finally, some incredibly cool sustainable conservation strategies. Section 1. Our freshwater resources explained.
So our freshwater basically sits in two main reservoirs. We've got surface water, which is your visible rivers, lakes, and wetlands, and then we have groundwater, the stuff that seeps deep, deep down into the Earth's saturation zones. But here's the thing, they aren't isolated at all. They're intimately connected through the hydrologic cycle. It's like this giant, continuous feedback loop. Surface water naturally seeps underground to become groundwater, and then that groundwater can actually resurface to replenish our lakes and streams. Fun fact, that is exactly how natural springs are formed.
Now, if we break down surface water a bit more, we generally find three distinct types. You've got perennial surface water, which is permanent, it's there all year round. Then there's ephemeral water, which is semi-permanent. Think of small creeks or lagoons that only pop up for certain parts of the year. And lastly, artificial surface water, which is just human-made structures like dams. And because surface water is literally right there in front of us, it's incredibly accessible. To put that into perspective, back in 2015, almost 80% of all water used in the United States came directly from surface water.
Section 2. The invisible water crisis.
Remember that 70% figure for agriculture we just talked about? Well, with global populations absolutely booming, agricultural demand for water is expected to spike by an additional 50% by 2050. Now, what's really interesting about this data is how we can actually track regional stress in real time, like with the Punjab water map in India. You can see the shift from dark blue, where water is super easy to access at just 0 to 2 meters deep, all the way down to these severe warning zones. Red means it's severely depleted, hitting 20 to 40 meters deep, and dark red shows critical depletion deeper than 40 meters. The scary part? We're literally draining our underground reserves way faster than rain can refill them. And that brings us to a pretty chilling reality. More than 40% of the world's population currently lives in a region where the demand for water just flat out exceeds the supply. And you know, when we overpump our aquifers, it doesn't just mean humans run out of drinking water. It causes some intense environmental degradation. It shrinks our lakes and rivers, totally disrupts local ecosystems, and in coastal areas, it literally pulls salt water right into our freshwater reserves, which is a massive problem.
Section 3. Your hidden water footprint. Okay, zooming into the personal level, you probably think your long showers or maybe toilet flushes are the biggest water hogs in your house, right? Well, actually, nearly 60% of a person's household water footprint goes straight to yard and garden maintenance. 60%. Plus, a shocking 14% of indoor use, which comes out to about 10 gallons a day, is lost entirely to leaks. So honestly, finally grabbing a wrench and fixing that dripping faucet you've been totally ignoring, that's actually one of the most immediate, effective ways you can shrink your daily footprint. And this brilliantly illustrates the hidden water footprint embedded in our daily, everyday choices. It's wild. Check this out. The water it takes to produce just one single quarter-pound hamburger is equivalent to the water used in more than 30 average American showers. No way, right? But it's because it takes a massive amount of water to grow the grain just to feed the cattle. In fashion, growing and processing just 1 pound of new cotton eats up about 100 gallons of water. So simply buying recycled goods, or maybe choosing grass-fed over grain-fed meat, can drastically cut down those hidden costs. We also kind of hold on to these funny myths about water usage at home. Like, a lot of people just assume washing dishes by hand saves water. In reality, a standard session of hand washing uses about 20 gallons of water. But an Energy Star-rated dishwasher, that uses only about 4 gallons per load. So embracing modern appliance efficiency, paired with just a few simple behavioral changes, genuinely makes a massive difference.
Section 4. Fixing agricultural water waste.
So the crucial point is, we need to talk about agriculture again. It generates $2.4 trillion globally, but historically, it has been wildly inefficient with water. The oldest and most common trick in the book is flood irrigation, but that leads to super uneven distribution, massive evaporation, and tons of surface runoff. Contrast that with drip irrigation, which delivers water directly to the plant's roots with almost zero loss. Just upgrading from those old systems that blindly spray water in all directions to a targeted drip system can save an absolutely incredible 30,000 gallons of water per year per installation. That's a real game changer.
But hey, it's not just about how we pour the water, it's also about how the earth holds it. By improving soil organic matter using things like green manures, mulching, and recycling crop residues, farmers can actually increase the water-holding capacity of their soil. This essentially allows the ground to act like a giant sponge, absorbing water deep down during torrential rains, which severely reduces the need for constant artificial irrigation during those dry spells.
Section 5. Sustainable Conservation Strategies. Let's move to and see how this builds into macro societal level solutions that are actively reversing water depletion right now. There's this incredible community-led engineering marvel in Maharashtra, India. With support from UNICEF, villagers in Palve Budruk completely transformed their 1,435-hectare catchment area. They constructed 3 dams, built 20 canal bunds, and dug 19 village ponds. And the genius part is they linked this whole system directly to percolation tanks, meant strictly for domestic use. This lets them confidently supply piped drinking water to local families every single morning. It's just an absolute masterpiece of local water management.
We also see the power of looking to the past to save our future. Over in Rajasthan, traditional, community-led rainwater harvesting techniques, like building tankas and johads, are experiencing a massive revival. And these aren't just neat historical artifacts. They are highly effective, deeply sustainable ways of conserving water that also completely support the local ecology and wildlife at the same time.
All of this really points to one ultimate goal: sustainable utilization. It simply means using our resources responsibly to meet today's needs without stealing from future generations. When we embrace things like rainwater harvesting, drip irrigation, and ecosystem restoration, the benefits totally cascade. We reduce water scarcity, we recharge our groundwater, secure our food supply, and protect the vital biodiversity of our aquatic ecosystems. It's the whole shebang.
And that brings us to the end of today's explainer, leaving us with a really critical realization. Every single drop of surface water and groundwater on this planet belongs to one shared hydrologic cycle. The macro global ecosystem is directly tied to your micro daily choices. Whether it's finally fixing that leaky faucet, eating a little less grain-fed meat, or advocating for smarter agricultural policies, your actions absolutely ripple outward. So I'll leave you with this question: how will you shrink your water footprint today? Thanks so much for learning with me, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.